welcome to this Sunday's video and welcome to a golden garden where I have to tackle an absolutely filthy greenhouse and every leaf in the neighborhood is in my garden. So we're going to do some satisfying garden cleaning up. I think I have finally come up with a cleaning system that works for me for cleaning the greenhouse and cleaning the glass. When there's lots of grime on the greenhouse, there can be like a film of like algae. I don't know how to describe it. It's not really green, but it does be like a bit of a thick layer of something, just grimy. So I find by having warm soapy water when it's really bad like this, if there's not as much grime on it, I find half vinegar, half water, scrub it down and wipe down is perfect. But when there's that film of grime, I do dairy washing liquid, warm water, and then I use a sweeping brush to scrub the glass. And then I use my extendable squeegee. I would be lost without my extendable squeegee. And then I squeeze all of the water off and that leaves it streak free. Sometimes I can get away with just using water and vinegar in a spray bottle and wiping it down. More kind of in summertime when I'm just giving it a quick clean. I find I have to do a big clean like this twice a year. So a nice autumnal one. But I don't think I did a proper one in spring this year, which is why it's extra dirty. I also did the inside this time and it's been a long time since I did the inside. I normally just hoover any of the cobwebs, wipe the side panels down with some water and vinegar, but this was the first time I actually scrubbed the inside. Probably the first time this year that I did the inside. I just want to show you the difference because I've gotten one side done in and out. So this side is all done. It did start to rain, but oh my god, the difference. And I'm also, you know what, I'm out here with no headphones in and I'm kind of just enjoying the sound. Big appreciation for the lovely golden leaves. Now look at the inside of the other side. So I have to do this side. So can you see all of the green? Like that's not rain. That is all of the green algae and I think just rain that has dried into the glass. So this side I've done inside and outside. And I don't know if it's because of all of the rain we had. It's just been extra wet this summer. So the difference between the two sides, this has given me great satisfaction. It is taking way longer than I expected. So I'm gonna have lunch and then I'm gonna tackle this side, which I do have to get in here, but there's enough room for me to get my small ladder. I can fit this ladder in, and once I have my extendable pole, I should be able to get this done. And then, oh, it's going to be so nice to have a clean greenhouse for Christmas. And then it just means come springtime, I can just go around the outside. I don't have to clean the inside as often, probably once a year for the glass on the inside. But the outside, I do probably twice, 3 times a year. So yeah, I need a cup of tea and then I'll be back. And you're probably wondering why I'm not using a power washer to wash down the greenhouse. To be honest, I find it wastes so much water and it doesn't get all of the grime off. I find this way I am just using probably about 3 half buckets of water and the surrounding area around the greenhouse doesn't become waterlogged. If you saw last Sunday's video, I was sharing all of the lovely rain that we've been having. So the grass is pretty much like sludge, hence my wellies. So that's why I'm not using a power washer, because all of that water would be wasteful and it's gonna make it really muddy around the base of the greenhouse. Maybe in summertime when it's drier, but then in summertime I'm trying not to waste water, so this was just easier for me. Oh, the spiders. I had to angle myself. So the damp sweeping brush was really good at removing sticky cobwebs. I am so sorry if you're afraid of spiders. I'm starting to no, I wouldn't say I like spiders. I can tolerate them. And I think they're amazing and they serve their purpose. And they're really good at keeping bugs under control. But when I was brushing the tops, you have to stay out of the firing line or you're going to get a spider on your jacket. That did happen to me. I did freak out, but not as bad as usual, so I am making progress with nature. It's taken me 3-ish hours. You know, I just wanted to get it done before it gets too cold in winter. Oh, look at the shine off that. That is literally dishwashing soap. Good old fairy liquid and the squeegee. Bit of vinegar as well. So yeah, so much shiny to tidy around here. That's starting to look really messy. But tomorrow will be leaf blowing. There is loads out the front. It's that time of year again where I battle with the leaves. One of the, I'm going to say perks, because I now know how useful leaves can be in the garden, whether it's mulching or you're making leaf molds. But for many years while I lived in this house, I was like, them damn leaves. However, I adore the trees and they're my borrowed landscape, and this is one of the gifts from them. So this is what I do. And on these garden videos, I will never tell you how to garden. I will always show you how I garden. And if that gives you inspiration, amazing. If you do it another way, amazing as well. Share what you do in the comments for the community. When it comes to leaves, I find I like to sweep them into an area. Sometimes I'll do it on a path, obviously make sure there's no rocks or stones on the path, or I'll do it on the grass. And I will mow the leaves, and then I will either use them as leaf mould or mulch, or they'll just go into compost if I don't have space. So I started cutting back the dahlias and I needed to mulch them, and I added a bit of compost on top, but I'm going to use some of the clippings in the raised beds as a mulch. So hopefully, there hasn't been any frost yet, but I know in the next week, I think in the Midlands of Ireland there was frost due. I'm on the east coast, so I'd say the frost will follow it. We are only a small island, so I'd say the frost might be on its way, but thankfully we don't get winters too bad here. I think Ireland and on the east coast is growing zone 8. We don't get heavy snow, but on mountaintops and higher areas you would get bits of snow. But where I am, you can probably count on one hand how many times you've had snow in the past decade. So winters would be mild enough, like you would get down to kind of 0, maybe -1, -2, but most of the time during the day in winter it'll stay around 5 or 6 degrees, and when it's mild it'd be about 10, 11, which is why I'm leaving the dahlias in the bed and I'm mulching them. But I did chat more about that in last Sunday's video if you want to listen to what I had to say about dahlias. Another thing that Mother Nature gives us, it's a gift for the plants. You can make leaf mould. So different to using them as mulch, although when you use them as mulch, they will break down into the soil. But if you want to make leaf mould, get yourself a plastic bag. I'm using one of these compostable, fancy biodegradable bags. So you fill up your bag, you can use a bin liner, and you can also get special sacks that I've seen. I actually did have them before. I think Mr. Middleton has them. Fill the plastic bag with wet leaves and then pierce the bag with a few holes for some ventilation. and the idea is to keep them wet and keep them moist. So put these in a damp area, maybe keep them down behind the shed. I sometimes put bags of leaf mould behind in the greenhouse, and the magic happens. I'm sure a biology or scientific person might be able to explain what happens. Basically, it makes its own little fungi. I actually don't know what it does, but I just know that leaf mould is it's like a bacteria that's good for the soil. And I do know that spring bulbs, because I heard Monty Don saying it on Gardener's World, spring bulbs love being mulched in autumn with leaf mould. It takes a couple of months for the process to happen. So if you put a couple of bags of leaves that are moist, that has a couple of air holes, it might take about 6 months. So come the end of summertime, you can then use it, and then it will be broken down, and you place it around the base of your plant, similarly to like when you mulch. So you can also mix it in with compost as well. So if you have your own garden compost that you're making yourself, you can mix in the leaf mould. There's a lot of science goes into soil. There is so much things to think of, different bacterias, the makeup of the soil. I am not a soil scientist at all, but if you want to learn more about leaf mould, I'm sure you could just pop it into Google and off you go down the rabbit hole. I know Gardener's World had some good resources on their website, so even use that and then just search for leaf mould and you'll get more information. Okay, baby steps. It's better than what it was. I don't mind the last little bits because they'll just like degrade down, which is grand, but I just like to try and keep on top of it as much as I can. The path is quite wet, so that's probably making it harder to sweep leaves. So I have one bag here. I'm going to pull my car in so that I can sweep up my corner of the road as well. How magic is that autumn sunlight just hitting, well, winter now, isn't it? Well, I'm tidy-ish. I mulched 2 beds. There's dahlias in here, so I wanted to just protect them from frost. So they are mulched. I have 1 bag of leaf mould, and my lawnmower is about to give up the ghost, so I'm going to have a look and see. I can't fit my lawnmower in my car, but I'm going to see if there's like a service place to bring it, to see if I can salvage it, or else Santa Claus will be giving me a lawnmower for Christmas. So looking tidy-ish. The grass, still a lot of green. I know there is like evergreen that's going to lose its leaves. So yeah, it's not, there's more leaves falling. So the ones that are left, these ones, most of that will fall the other side of the wall, so that's fine. I should avoid, might get a few down by the greenhouse, but these trees are more the other side of the wall, so unless I get a storm or something, they don't really blow in. But I just appreciate them so much. They're just so pretty, and even when I was cleaning the greenhouse yesterday, I was just admiring them. You kind of forget how pretty November is. I think sometimes we think, oh, the dark nights. Well, I do when I say so. I think. But it's actually really pretty. So yeah, I'm going to leave it there. Still haven't put a spring bulb in the ground, but thankfully I do have loads from last year. But I do want to do some pots, and I also need to tidy up. I need to repair one of the beds, and I want to put some capping on top to make them look a bit fancier. So yeah, look at the leaves falling. How magical is that?